Okay. Enough slacking on my part since I teased doing top 10 tracks and top 10 albums. It's finally time for me to do some of those videos. I've been meaning to do this one for a while. I've actually had this list set for a while. I did tinker with it about a week ago or so, and every now and then I put it on and listen to it. And what I do is I'll play it in reverse order, so it goes 10, 9, 8, 7. And yeah, I think I'm pretty well settled on this. The only thing I didn't really account for was what I excluded. So I think I left out anything after Mr. Morale. I really didn't include anything from Run the Jewels, and I didn't include anything from Cornballs. I'm kind of calling that like the end of the first year after Mr. Morale. There's no real reason for that other than you got to draw a line somewhere. So there you go. So my top 10 albums is a disaster. I still haven't sorted that out at all. But top 10 tracks, this one was surprisingly easy in a sense, in that I already knew what my top 4, 5, 6 were going to be. Like that was kind of easy. And then as you get kind of out of that top 5, at least for me, then it gets into a much harder decision to make, because there's so many songs like, I didn't really organize anything after 10, but what's currently sitting at 13, that could be number 10. That could be number 9. It really fluctuates around a lot at the bottom. When you get, the way I kind of view it is you think of like a mountaintop where the peak is sticking through the clouds. And it's like, okay, yeah, there's the mountain. Definitively, that is the top. That's the side. But then as it gets into the clouds, you lose track of everything, and everything else just kind of mixes in. My basis for this really was, how much did I enjoy the song? That was the whole start of the channel when I was doing the Tyler singles. Was I wasn't going to rate songs because I don't like rating songs. It's not what I do. And so the basis that I used back then was, would I listen to this song again, yes or no? And if it was a yes, there you go. That's all you need to have, in my opinion. If you're willing to listen to a song multiple times, it's a good song. So really, that's probably the core of what's driving this. Some of these songs are a little bit more weighted in the sense of, I don't know, how they struck me, maybe a little bit more in what they mean in terms of how it affected an album, or maybe even just an artist or something like that. But really the core foundation for this selection process was, do I listen to these songs a lot? And the answer is yes. I mean, all of these songs, even the ones that don't make it on this list, that are kind of churning around below, I listen to a lot. So there you go. I guess there's not a whole lot else to mumble about. These are the top 10 tracks for my first year in my journey of hip hop. And it is kind of fun to sit here and think about that, when a year ago I probably couldn't even name 5 rap. Well, no, I could name 5 rap artists a year ago. I could have done that. But anything outside of Dr. Dre or Eminem, for those of you who are not aware also, because I see this come up a decent amount, why don't you listen to any Eminem stuff? Eminem and Dr. Dre and a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of Cypress Hill, those were the only rap artists I listened to prior to starting this journey and creating this channel. And so I'm very familiar with Chronic 2001. I fucking know that album up and down. I listen to that one a lot. I don't listen to it very often, and I don't think I've even listened to it since I've started the channel. But I used to listen to it quite a bit, and I'm very familiar with it. Same thing with the first Chronic album. And then Eminem stuff, I'm not overly familiar with. I mean, I've listened to probably his first 5 or 6 albums-ish. I remember getting through like Rehab and Relapse or something like that. Like there's a song, I think, on Relapse called Deja Vu that I really, really like. I haven't listened to that one in a while either. But I'm no expert on Eminem. I don't know all of his music and all this other stuff. But that's to just answer that question. How come I haven't done those guys? I've already heard them. And so people have brought up Eminem a lot. I have talked about in messages and stuff saying maybe I'll do a revisit to the very first album, because it has been so long and my ear has changed so much. It would be interesting to hit it again with a completely different perspective and see what I think of it. Anyway, there you go. Okay, enough stalling. That's enough stalling. Let's move into number 10. Well, hell, we'll just play it. Here we go. Track 10, or number 10 of my top 10 favorite tracks so far in my first year of listening to hip hop starts with... God, this song is good. I love this song.
Go dumb in the stereo, but I'm just too smart for the radio. Masked up like a young Rey Mysterio. Mask off when I'm back in the studio. Mac ain't make it to 27. Pox ain't make it to 26. Big ain't make it to 25. It's only right that I gotta get rich.
It's interesting listening to that line now after having just done swimming and finally hearing Mac Miller. It's a little different, you know, because I've always paid attention to that line. But it's cool to hear Denzel Curry call out those three guys, you know, and to hear him reference him specifically and kind of throw a nod to them, which is neat. But X-Wing, man, I still think Melt My Eyes, See Your Future is a fantastic album. The impression I'm getting right now that it's been a little while since it's been out and other albums have come out and people are talking about this and that, I feel like that album is a little underrated. I think Denzel Curry overall is a little underrated. I think that guy needs a little bit more... I don't know, recognition, praise, whatever. Melt My Eyes is great. X-Wing is just fucking phenomenal, in my opinion. I love that song. The beginning is beautiful, but then when he gets into the chorus, you know, I don't want a car, I want an X-Wing, I'm on to the next thing. The way he does it is great, and it just got stuck in my head so much. And even since moving on from that album and listening to other albums, I still have that song in my head sometimes. I'll just be walking around. I don't want a car. I want an X-Wing. So there's my number 10, my entry. Like I was saying earlier, so many songs could have been number 10. And actually, I initially had this song a little higher, honestly. When I did some resorts and re-listens and resorts, it did get shifted down, but it maintained inside top 10. So I'm very happy for that because I feel like it belongs there. But of course, to maintain that counter argument, there's so many songs that could be there. So number 10 is sometimes a fierce spot. People always talk about the number 1, but number 10, you know, that line, it's the one that everyone's scrapping for to like make the cut. That's a difficult spot to be in sometimes. So there you go. All right, moving into number 9. Number 9 was fun because in the album, it came in pretty late. And up to that point, I had been enjoying the album thoroughly. It's the only album I've heard from this group. It's the first album from this group. And this track specifically came in pretty late, and it was impressive for me to enjoy it as much as I did that late in the album, because sometimes albums, you know, maybe they lose a little bit of steam, or you feel like you hear the good songs early, and then the back half, maybe the song's a little bit more chill. I mean, they're still good, but just kind of a different style. It's not uncommon for an album to kind of back off on the second half. But with this track, it was so cool to hear all these guys come in with their verse and their verse and their verse, and it just kept going and going and going. And I think on the reaction, I likened it to Ultron and Forming Together, which is, I think, a reference that they even made themselves. So I probably have given it away now. At least you probably know who the band is. Track 9, or number 9 on my list, is from the Wu-Tang Clan. And it is a very solid piece of advice. The track is Protect Your Neck.
Like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser, raising hell with the flavor, terrorize the jam like troops in Pakistan, swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man. So tick tock, keep ticking, while I get to flipping off the shit I'm kicking. The Lone Ranger, cold wet, danger, deep in the dark with the art to rip the charts apart.
It's so hard to pause it. I mean, I did think, well, maybe I could sit and listen to each song, but then I have to deal with all this copyright bullshit, and I mean, they're already going to claim it because I'm playing the music. So anyway, I didn't want the video to get blocked. But Protect Your Neck is a fantastic track. Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, fantastic album. I still need to get into more of their stuff. But it was just kind of like I alluded to in the beginning before I actually played the song, just the fact that these guys are coming in with verse after verse after verse after verse, and each verse is strong and solid, and the song just keeps going, and they maintain that momentum so well. It's awesome. It is awesome. Great, great song. Love that song. That album was really good too. Hint, hint. Moving into number 8. I kind of almost did this on purpose, in a sense of maybe number 8 could have gone higher, maybe not much higher. Maybe it could have been 7. This could have been 7. I think it maybe became 8 just because I like the idea of it somewhat being tethered to Protect Your Neck. Because the cool thing about Protect Your Neck is it's a good piece of advice. It's solid. Protect your neck. Yeah. Because what happens is if you don't protect your neck, what happens is you get welts on your neck from all the necklace snatching that happens. That's, Yeah? Anybody know? Trying to drop little hints to see if people can pick up on what it is. Number 8, hopefully it's obvious to some of you.
You're talking to the robbery expert. Step into your wake with your blood
that
on my
line
shirt.
is
Don't be a jerk and get smoked over being resistant. Cause when I lick shots, the shit is persistent. Goodness gracious, the papers. Where the cash at? Where the stash at? Nigga, pass that before you get your grave dug from the main thug. 357 slug, and my nigga Biggie got an itchy one grip. One in the chain, but 32
Oh my
in the
God,
clip.
this song is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, nigga, peel before you find out how blue steel feel. From the Beretta, putting all the holes in your sweater. The money getter, motherfuckers know the better.
Goddamn, dude. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Oh, such a great song. Such a great song. And one of the things about Biggie, having finally heard him and listened to him do his thing on Ready to Die, great rapper, obviously. Everybody knows that. But I think it was really the first time where I heard a song like that where I was like, oh, I'm totally into this. Because he does it so well. Even that whole thing, yeah, peel. Like when you tell him to strip down, peel, everything. Where's the cash at? Give me the loot, man. That whole song. It's just pure fire from top to bottom. I actually, now that I say that, I think Gimme the Loot was my first ever official fire award in terms of a track. Unbelievable song. Unbelievable. And it just keeps coming and coming and coming. Amazing song. Amazing song. And I love how Biggie's doing his 2 voices, like he's talking back and forth between 2 characters and stuff like that. And goddamn. And the beat's great. But really, it's the lyrical flow. It's the flow. It's the rhyming structure. It's just the way he's just relentless, ruthless, unapologetic. It is full throttle the whole way through. Incredible track. So Give Me the Loot lands at number 8. I mean, it could be higher. Maybe. I don't know. Now, you're going to notice now that from here on out, the tone of the list kind of changes. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil it. But Give Me the Loot. Fantastic. Fantastic track. Coming in at number 7. Number 7 is actually a 3-way tie. And you might think to yourself, well, Bob, that's interesting because it sounds like a load of bullshit. A 3-way tie at 7th place. Sounds like you're just trying to squeeze more songs on the list, which is partially true. But really, I found that with this artist specifically, this is his only song on the list that makes the top 10 for me. But this song I love with 2 other songs just as well. And so it became a 3-way battle between of the 3 songs that I love from Kid Cudi, which one gets to represent him on this list for me. Because Solo Dolo, Mr. Rager, and These Worries are all amazing tracks. Amazing tracks. And on any given day, I could tell you one of those three is my favorite, and then the next day it would be different. But what's also interesting with those three tracks is I feel like generally their tone, even maybe their theme, is very similar. They're very similar style songs. And so it was hard to pick which one it was going to be. Which one's going to represent Kid Cudi at number 7 on my top 10 list. And so, after much deliberation and flipping 3-sided coins, I chose this one. These were. God, it's so hard to pause. It just fucking kills me. It kills me, man. You know, I think the reason why These Worries edges out the other two is because Mary J. Blige been on there, and her vocals in that song, man, it just, I don't know, it just carries a little bit more emotion in there. Not that the other two don't have emotion, but with her singing in that song, it's great. It's phenomenal. I really, really, really love that song. And it's one of those songs, I mean, I've listened to it over and over and over again, man. Like all these songs so far, honestly. There you go. There's number 7. Number 6 is an interesting song in the sense that I slept on this track initially. I went through the album. It was the final track on the album. And the rest of the album, I think, let's see, maybe I can drop this hint for you guys that are trying to guess what the track is going to be before I actually say it. I think I classified this album as a hell train through distortion or something like that. Like, so much distortion. An amazing amount of distortion. It's like a hell ride of distortion or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I said on the reaction. Or maybe it was the additional thoughts. But actually, I take that back. I never did a reaction to this album. I hadn't gotten to that part yet. So that should give away who it is, right? Because I was only doing full albums until I started working through this individual, which means I started with Tyler. And what's really cool about this track is that I went through the whole Tyler discography, really enjoyed it, and I posted a video doing my top 10 Tyler tracks. And in that video, I told people, hey, post your top 10. It's fun to look at everybody else's top 10s. And I posted up his top 10, and this song was his number 1. And I went, huh. Because I was like, I don't really remember that one. And yeah, it's the last one off of Cherry Bomb. And I heard it, but I don't remember it. So I went back and listened to it. I was like, huh. And I listened to it again. Huh. And then I listened to it again. And again, I was like, this song's fucking amazing. This song is amazing. And I totally slept on it. And I think it was just because it was at the end of Cherry Bomb. And it's a departure from the rest of the album. It's really chill. Love it. But now that I've pretty much given it away, number 6 is Okauga, California by Tyler, the Creator. I love that change up right there on the drums. Yeah, it's so cool. Okauga, California is such a cool ride. Man, it is such a cool ride. And I love the supporting vocals in there. And even when it gets into the second half of the album, it kind of changes just a little bit. The beat changes a little bit. But man, 6.5 minutes of just cool. Really, really cool. Love that song. And I know I just keep saying that because I love all these songs. That's why they're on the top 10, right? I need to look up like more adjectives so I sound fancy and sophisticated when I'm describing why I like these songs or what they sound like. But Okaka, California, man, just such a great chill jam. And honestly, it calms me down. That song calms me down. Sometimes I'll just put that on if I'm just kind of I'll put that on and it does. It chills me out. It really chills me out. Great track. Love that track. My wife is making fun of me because I'm doing edits, which is something I don't normally do, as you guys are aware of. And there's a trick to editing that you can do where when you have these gaps, because I'm just recording this all in one video. I'm going to go back and splice it. But for those of you who are maybe trying to get into making videos or editing and little simple tricks, one of the best things you can do, it's great, is you do this. You do this little clap. And what that does is when you go back and open your file, in the audio file, you'll see these spikes, these two like lines. You go, oh, that's my marker. So you don't have to like sit there and listen to it or scroll back and forth and try and find your re-entry point where you know, okay, I ended here and I want to resume here. You've got that marker. You can just clip it out. Little pro tip for you guys. Moving into number 5. This song, I think this song, it's hard to remember exactly how I felt. Well, no, actually it's not. It's not. This song was pretty early in the album. It was the second album I had heard from this artist. And it really started to pull me in. And that's when I got to this track, I really started to realize I'm going to be told a story, an amazing story. Because the way things were being delivered, he's talking about how he's with his homies. And, you know, normally I'm this and normally I'm that, but right now I'm with my homies, and then it turns. And it's such a great track. Kendrick Lamar's The Art of Peer Pressure, and how he's telling the story. I think what struck me the most with this song is I realized here's a song where if you were just listening but not paying attention, you would think he's into what's going on, but it's actually the opposite. He's pulled in. Completely pulled in, so much so that he can't escape. And the tone that this song has captures it perfectly.
Me and my niggas 4 deep in a white Toyota. A quarter tank of gas, 1 pistol and orange soda. Janky stash box when the federales a roll up. Basketball shorts with the Gonzalez Park odor. We on the mission for bad bitches in trouble. I hope the universe love you today. Cause the energy we bring is sure to carry away a flock of positive activists and fill their body with hate if it's necessary. Bumping cheesy first album, looking distracted. Speaking language only we know, you think it's an accent. The windows roll down, all I see is a hand pass it. Hotboxing like George Foreman, grilling the masses of the working world. We pulled up on a bunch of working girls and asked them what they're working with. Look at me, I got the blunt in my mouth. Usually I'm drug free, but shit, I'm with the homies. Yeah.
The tone that exists within that song, man, I can't even describe. I don't even know how he manages to pull it off, because there's this really just this feeling, this emotion of being swept away and caught up in this thing and not wanting to do it, but also not fighting it and just going with it. And then also this duality of I shouldn't be doing this, but also justifying it to himself. The Art of Peer Pressure, I think, in terms of my first year of listening to music, listening to hip hop, incredible story. I mean, that album, Good Kid, Mad City, is unbelievable. And that song really is what pulled me into it, because it's pretty early in the album. And I started to realize, oh shit, we're going on a ride. We're going on a ride. And that's pretty much, for me, that was kind of like the big first turn in the album. The Art of Peer Pressure. Fantastic song. Amazing song. Amazing song. Number 4 may surprise you. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Number 4 is my new favorite Kanye song. Number 4 is super chill. But I like the openness, the honesty, the reflection, and the tone. And you guys are going to notice my top 5 has a very similar tone throughout. This song, man, when I remember reacting to the album, and then I had to go out of town that day. So I got everything posted up and I took off. And I was listening to the album again in the car, as I do. And it got to this track, and when the track completed, I hit back and listened to it again. And it completed, I hit back and listened to it again. I probably listened to this song 10 times in a row, maybe 15 times in a row. I listened to it for a while. And you would think, okay, you listen to it that much, maybe you start to get burnt out a little bit. I actually ended up letting the album go the rest of the way because I didn't want to burn out on it. I didn't want to get sick of it because I love it. I absolutely love it. And so to replace Gone, or to supplant Gone, or whatever you want, usurp perhaps, to steal, this is fitting, to steal the throne, my number 4 comes off of Watch the Throne. And it is New Day.
Yeah, Me and the RZA connect. Yeah, me and the RZA connect.
God, I just want to listen to the whole thing. The whole thing. I gotta stop it somewhere. I can't really place. I guess, I talked about it a little bit before I gave away which song it was, but maybe it's the pianos, maybe it's the drum beat, maybe it's the fact that Nina Simone is floating around in the background, maybe it's the fact that this song kind of made me realize I was a little full of my own opinion when it came to the idea of, Kanye West, he has died, and, Pinocchio's story and all this other stuff. Like, no, man, this guy's still here, and he's still trying, and he's talking about his kid, and hearing Jay-Z talk about his kid, and just a great song. And I'm probably biased in the sense too, being a father and having my own son, and resonating with some of these ideas that are coming through on this track. But I love New Day. I love New Day. I can just listen to it over and over and over again. And it's been so fun having this list and just listening to these songs over and over again. Yeah, great song. Great song. Moving into top 3 territory now. I part of me wants to say I'm surprised this one got this high, and the other part of me is not surprised at all. This remains to be my number 1 song from this artist. I loved it the moment I heard it. There's been no question in my mind it's my favorite track from this guy. I love the subtlety in the music, how it starts and how it builds and it builds and it builds. There's all these great sounds going around in it. And I guess really that's it. I don't have any necessarily personal connection to it like some of these other songs that I've had. It's just a killer fucking song. So this is the second time Tyler, the Creator, has appeared on this list, and he comes in again at number 3 with from the album Call Me If You Get Lost, Massa.
I purchase more wheels when I feel like I'm third wheeling. My favorite part of the double R's, the bird ceiling, the panoramic view of the sky and the sun beaming. That ray of light show that nobody is front seating. I'm on the hunt for perfect, but decent is what I've been on. I know she fell in love, but commitment is not my end goal. And all my friends that did got too comfort, a little chubby, and that drive to make that money dried up when that nose was running. We ain't gotta pay attention to the stuff that he battles. Everyone I ever loved had to be loved in the shadows. Tug of war with X and Y felt like a custody battle. Felt like the boat going down. It felt like I'm missing a paddle.
I fucking hate stopping it, because right then is when the piano starts coming in and it starts picking up and his voice starts getting rougher and he starts growling and rolling his R's like he does, and fucking love it. I love it. That song, man, is so good. So good. And it is hard to pick a top 1 from Tyler, because he's got some great tracks, man. Great tracks. But something about Massa. You know, and we're right where I dropped it into right there. I purchase more wheels when I feel like I'm third wheeling. That's a great line, especially when you've heard all of his other albums. Because he talks about all the time, right? These love lost and these relationships, and then he goes and buys cars instead. Well, not instead, but he buys cars. But then he'll even talk about how he wishes he had somebody in the passenger seat with them, and just a great track. Great track. And I love how it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and then he just ends it. And the verses that he has throughout this track are, I think, phenomenal. Just fantastic track. Number 2. Number 2. I'm going to tell you all about number 2. And you're going to sit here and listen to what I say, and then you're going to go, you know, Bob, it sounds like number 2 is really your number 1. I'm going to go, you know what? Yeah, you're kind of right in the sense. It probably maybe should be number 1. But I'll talk about number 1 a little bit later. And maybe it'll make sense as to why this track is number 2. The reason why it'll sound like it should be my number 1 for this list is because I mentioned this song in Additional Thoughts. I think I talked about how it now sits at a very special table where it is number 3 for my all-time favorite songs ever. And so number 1 being Invincible by Tool, number 2 being Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, and number 3 of my all-time list being Mr. Kendrick Lamar in this song. And you guys probably already know what song it is. But this song to me is incredibly important in the sense that where it places in the album, what it does in the album, where it places in this person's career, well, in Kendrick's career, I just said his name, I forgot. What he comes to realize and admit to himself in this song, and how important that is for him as a person, as a musician, as everything. It's massive in my opinion. I remember crying like a baby. Crying like a baby during the reaction. You know, I could barely keep my shit together. Hearing this song and the lyrics that he had in it. Number 2, all-time favorite so far for the first year is Kendrick Lamar's Crown.
Heavy is the head that chose to wear the crown. To whom is given much is required now. Heavy is the head that chose to wear the crown. To whom is given much is required now.
I can't please everybody. Can't please everybody. Can't please everybody. Can't please everybody. Love's gonna get you killed. Love gonna get you killed. I can't please everybody. Can't please everybody. Can't even please myself. Can't even please myself. I thought a new car would help. But when the new car gets old, I should've want something else.
God, I get emotional just fucking. Even now, I just love it. God, I love that song so much. And you know what really sends me over the rails on this one? Anthony Fantano, obviously massive in the music review world and stuff like that. I respect the guy. I don't really have anything against him at all. I don't watch a lot of his content. The stuff I have seen, I get the impression that him and I are very different in how we experience music. And that's totally okay, right? He doesn't have to fucking prove anything to me. I don't have to prove anything to him. He's incredibly successful on the YouTube channel and everything that he's doing. So, no disrespect to him at all in any way. But when he said he found Crown to be one of Kendrick's most annoying tracks, I just about lost my fucking mind. Like, I remember getting home and just be like, do not post it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because what you'll do is you'll trick yourself into thinking, no. I'm going to say this respectfully, and it's not going to come out that way. Oh, man. For me with Crown, it's just huge. It's huge. That realization for Kendrick, I can't please everybody. I thought a new car would help, but when that car gets old, I go and buy something else. It's incredible. And then in the album, Miss Morale and the Big Steppers, at that point on, after that track, he just unloads. Unload. Everything's on the table at that point. There's no more tap dancing around the issue. Incredible song. Incredible song. Crown. Oh, man. Number one time. Well, let's give some hints, and we'll see if you guys can guess what my number one is so far. First year listening to hip hop. It's a feature. It's the guy doing the song is a feature on the album. It's not even the artist himself. The song doesn't even come in at 90 seconds long. And so why is this my number one and not Crown, right? This song is perfect. I feel like this song is perfect. Incredible rapping, incredible lyrical flow. The way the music matches the mood and the tone and the feeling and just this frustration that can't quite be nailed down. It's amazing. It's amazing. And then the way it ends, the way it just hangs. It's so good. So good. I want to keep talking about it, but I need to just reveal what it is so you guys can know, and then I'll talk about it more. My number one, and I kind of knew this from the beginning when I was going to make this list about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, when I was starting to think about it. I do like that it's a feature too. My number one favorite track so far, first year.
Solo my halo, say way low, it feel like it's been. Solo that when they throw pussy or pesos, don't pay no attention to it. Solo that I am no rookie, but feel like a kid. Looking at the other kids with astonishment while I'm on punishment, watching the summer come close to an end. After 20 years in, I'm so naive, I was under the impression that everyone wrote their own verses. It's coming back different, and yeah, that shit hurts me. I'm humming and whistling to those not deserving. I stumbled and lived every word. Was I working just way too hard?
And then it just hangs. I love it. I love it. You get left with that question, was I just, I was under the impression that everybody was doing and writing their own verses and all this other stuff. Was I just working way too hard? And it's just this incredible expression of frustration, confusion, disappointment, disillusionment. And the piano just hangs there, and you just feel that. It's amazing. Amazing song. And then two, I dropped it in right after that portion where there's that middle section of the verse where he's talking about women, right? And it's got that grindy electrical like drill, like you're getting a root canal or something, right? That part is so great because it's unpleasant and it almost hurts, and that's the point. Because you're in an album where this guy is expressing how he's just at the bottom and he's got all these. He's completely burnt out, right? He's so low. But then when he talks or considers women in his life, it just grinds on him. And of course, because he's struggling with his own sexuality, he's struggling with this concept of, do I actually just acknowledge who I am and just accept it? Or do I force myself to be this person and try and be with women? And then the idea, it just eats him alive, Incredible song. There you go. Now, some people have said, "Oh, you got to do, honorable mentions." Honorable mentions. I thought about that. This playlist that I have only has about 30 tracks because I stopped adding songs. Because after a while, it becomes too much, So what are some of the other songs on here? Streetlights is on here, but I knew Streetlights wasn't going to be, because it's not my favorite Kanye, so of course not. But okay, I Love You, I Hate You, Little Sims. Let's see. I put One Love on here from Illmatic. I really like that song quite a bit. Apparently by J. Cole, almost made top 10. I love that song. That's a great, great song. I put Shitsville on here by Freddie Gibbs. I like that one a lot too. Fucking Hacker by Death Grips. Everything is Everything, Lauryn Hill. I put Rainbow Six on here by JPEG. I probably would have put some other stuff from Cornballs, but like I said, I stopped adding. But Rainbow Six by JPEG is fucking phenomenal, man. Like when he's got that weird moaning sound, and I still remember getting to that point in the album on the initial reaction, and it's like, all right, here we go. He's just puking all this stuff up now, finally. Great Day off of Mad Villainy. Fantastic song. Fantastic song. There are so many tracks I wanted to pull from Mad Villainy and put into this list, but it's tough because I feel like Mad Villainy is more of an experience than a collection of songs. And it's you take a song out and it's still a great song, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. It's got to have everybody else with it, you know? Christian Corinthians, How Much a Dollar Cost, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Kendrick Lamar was all over this list. And like I said, that's just, those are some of the songs. There you go. There's my top 10 from this first year so far. It's, New Magic Wand is on here, it's sitting there, and it's been great, you guys. It's been so great. And what's nice is I can actually make this list, whereas my top 10 albums so far, man. I think now it's up to 22 albums. Instead of narrowing it down to my top 10, I just keep making a longer list. Like it's not going well. It's not going well at all. But hopefully I'll stop being a little baby about it and I'll just make some tough decisions. And maybe I can get to that list next week sometime. All right, y'all. I guess leave comments. What do you think? What do you think of these top 10? Are you surprised? I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised that my top 5 are just chill. But, there you go. All right. We'll see you.